All right, we will move back to the KCL. We're joined by the Schlagle Stallions. The Stallions are coached by Peyton Leslie. Last year, his records could be off because we go off max prep, but last year 3-19 and 1-9 in league.
3-18.
3-18, 2-9. What? 1-9 in league. Is that correct?
That sounds about right.
All right. So we have with us the Stallions and Coach Leslie.
Hey, thanks for having us, you guys. Vernon, David Brooks, continue to do what you guys do. Doing a great job as usual. Let me introduce my guys. Start off first with Jordan Young. He transferred over this year from Sumner Academy. He's a junior. Guy to my immediate right here is Jamie Harris. He transferred from school up the street. And guy on the end there is Ladarius Brooks. He's been with us. He is a junior forward for us. Jamie is a senior. As far as our squad this year, we're still young in the fact of still learning how to win and be successful. We have two seniors, Jamie, and actually three seniors, Jamie, Marvell Wheeler, and we got another senior in Nicholas Singleton. He doesn't get a lot of playing time as of right now, but hopefully he will. Very young mentally. We have a long way to go. We've had some pretty solid practices up to this point. One thing different that I can say about our ball club versus last year is we have better leadership this year, more accountability in between the lines, and that's as far as getting to practice and holding guys accountable on the court, off the court. And that kind of transfers over to kind of what we want to do as far as having discipline and being a solid program. Talk about our first three games so far. Right now we're sitting at 2-1. We lost our first game in the Van Horn Invitational to Center High School, good ball club, down 2 with a minute left and just couldn't finish the ball game. Again, that's kind of our growing process. We play four sophomores with our regular rotation. And, with that, our sophomores made some big mistakes down the clutch. Got to a slow start. First couple minutes of the ball game, the guys were kind of fidgety and nervous and, things of that nature. And that kind of comes with, being your first game. Playing a Missouri school at that as well. They've had a couple of games up to that point, so they're a little bit more poised. But I was proud of the way my guys fought. We were down at one point in that game by 11. And, difference in this year's ball club and last year's ball club, that 11 would have turned into 20 and to 30 last year. But this year we're a little more mentally tough. So we were able to fight back, bring it within 2, just couldn't finish it out. Our second ball game, up and down pace, scored 99 points, but these guys know we're not really worried about scoring because, like I tell them, my four-year-old can, put the ball in the hole. It's about getting stops. We gave up 71 points, which is totally unacceptable with what we want to do. Everything we do starts and ends with defense. We really preach it. Being an ex-champion from Schlagle, we know that, and Vernon knows that everything starts on the defensive end. You got to be able to get stops. And so much nowadays, everything's based on glory. Like I can have 20 points, 30 points, and I'm looked at as a ball player, but the guy I was guarding had 40 points, so it's kind of a mentally jacked up deal there. So we really want to get back to really focusing defensively. So that's been a big point for us this year. So second game, 71 points, way too many. Third game, but we won, so obviously that's good. In third game, we end up giving up, I want to say, maybe 51 points. A lot better. We kind of want to hold teams under 50. That's kind of our goal and our staple. But again, we won, so it's kind of one of those deals we'll kind of learn along the way. As long as we're getting dubs, everything's not bad.
So real quick, talk a little bit
it,
about
yeah.
the importance that you guys actually open up in the tournament and getting 3 games under your belt kind of quick. What was the kind of the thought process in opening up a season with a tournament?
Well, to be honest with you, it kind of just worked out like that. You know, we generally play Barstow to open up, but we were usually in the Blue Springs South tournament, and it's no need for us to be in that tournament really with where our program is. Just being honest, you playing against Blue Springs South and you playing against Jimmy Witt, from Columbia Hickman, and where our program is, we kind of wanted to start off in a different tournament, just to be honest with you. And the Van Horn tournament fit perfect for us. Still competition, but at the same time, it's not big 6A Missouri, powerhouses to where, we have to kind of be behind the 8 ball or whatever that saying is on that deal. So that's kind of how that all came about. 3 games in 3 days, that was a challenge on the guys. But, we run for everything in practice. If you cough at the wrong time, you're on the line. So it's like, being in shape is kind of what we pride ourselves on. And I thought they did a great job. We got a little more depth this year as well. So, guys aren't playing, crazy minutes. So we were able to kind of still, get by that. But generally this week coming up is tournament week. So it just, worked a little different for us this year, that's all.
Jordan, talk a little bit about transitioning over here to Schlagle and getting off to this good start you have in these first 3 games.
Since I came to Schlagle, I feel like my game's evolved and I became more confident, and I think that's what's led to me playing the way I've been playing these past 3 games. I'm very happy with where I'm at right now, and I like here at Schlagle. I think we're going to have a good season.
Jamie, talk a little bit about the transition for you, stepping into a new program and kind of, your thoughts on that.
I like it way better. At Washington, it was like I have no confidence, Yeah, I mean the school up the street, I'm sorry, but it's terrible. It's like when I played up there, it's different than it is here. My confidence is way higher. I could, play ball really. Up there, it wasn't like that.
So is he going to run for actually stating the school name? Ladarius, talk a little bit about, one of the keys, of course, for Schlagle this year is going to be you and being in the post and stand on the floor. So talk a little bit about the evolution of your game going into this season.
Honestly, I think it's a mental thing for me. I just need to get mentally stronger. Physically, I'm all right. It's just a mental thing for me. When I do something wrong, I drop. Like everything in my mind I just shut down and I just play worse. As you see in the first game, I fouled out because it was a mental thing, but over the second and third game, I was more mentally stronger. I actually stayed on the floor, and the guys, they really needed me. So I blame the first game on myself because it was a mental thing. Fouled out because I shut down mentally. So.
Talk a little bit about transitioning, you being one of the more vocal leaders in terms of scoring on the court. Last year you had the 2 guards that, kind of you guys relied on a little bit to score the ball, but now a little bit more team aspect in your role in picking up that scoring load.
I talked to Coach. Honestly, it's not just me, it's Jamie and Jordan as well, picking up the leadership role. But as a leader, we tell the guys in the locker room, just play their roles. I told them before the game, play your roles, listen to what Coach Leslie has to say. I tell Jamie all the time to slow it down, and we don't need to score all the time, just move the ball. I tell Jordan the same thing because they transition from point to shooting guard. So, honestly, as a leader, I just tell them to slow it down just a little bit because last year we moved too fast. I believe last season was more selfish. So I tell these 2 guys to slow it down. We don't need to score all the time. Find the best ways to score when we do score, and honestly, just move the ball.
So, Coach, maybe talk a little bit about this depth that you kind of mentioned. You say you could probably go pretty deep with your lineup. Talk about some of those other guys that aren't here?
I wouldn't say pretty deep, but we definitely have more depth than we had last year, just being basketball players and IQ-wise. One of our other guys is Jose Vargas. He's a junior, energy guy. Everybody has to play defense to even play. You know, we talk about what are you going to do to help the team. If you're not helping the team, how can I put you in? And he's another one of those guys that helps us defensively. Dominique Sanders, he's a sophomore. We got a good sophomore class, 4 guys: Dominique Sanders, Christopher Connor, help me out, guys, Marcus Henderson, and Tamai Johnson. All 4 of those guys are huge for us with that depth. First game, those guys made some crucial errors down the clutch. So, you know, we'll take that in December versus, you know, January, February, March, you know. So it's kind of that learning curve, you know, those guys will learn. Another guy is Xavier Morrow. He's a junior. He's coming along. Been real tough on all these guys, but very tough on X just because he has to grow as a person and as a player. You know, I tell him sometimes he still looks like the same guy that when I first saw him on the first day of school, you know. So I'm really, really tough on him, always challenging him. He played his best game I've ever seen him play this past Saturday. He got our quote-unquote Kevin Fort award, and you guys know Kevin Fort. Kevin Fort was just a tough guy, didn't care about scoring. You know, that 93 team, Vinnie Smith back there, who's with Sumner. But he played with that team and just a tough guy, you know, period. And, you know, like I said earlier, everybody that scores points gets the glory. You know, we wanted to kind of recognize a tough guy, you know, 50-50 guy, taking charges, guarding your best ball player. And that was Xavier Morrow Saturday. Real proud of him. Played a great game. That's pretty much the lineup there, top to bottom. Nicholas Singleton is a senior again. He should play some minutes. He's in the doghouse right now because he missed a practice. But hopefully he'll, you know, work hard and get back where he needs to be.
So you're a couple of years into it now, building a good foundation with the sophomores that you have here and the leadership up here. There's a couple of underclassmen that are going to be doing a lot of good things. Where do you think you are in terms of your, you know, coaching, starting out here with the boys team?
This is year 3, you know, so year 1, we inherited some guys, did a lot of chin checking, as we call it, and kind of getting the right mindset to the program. Year 2, it was necessary, but, I mean, we were flat out pathetic, just to be honest. But at the same time, when you're building a program, sometimes you got to scrap it all out and start from the bottom. This is year 3, you know, so this is the payoff, you know. So we have to a lot of pressure on these guys, and they know that as a person, you know, I put a lot of pressure on myself. Nobody can ever pressure me more than me. So this is a big year for us. We have to win, period. And we got a great foundation. We got a great group of freshmen, probably the best freshman class we've had since I've been up there. Great group of sophomores. So great group of juniors. And we got this stud here, and Marvell Wheeler. So we're definitely in the right track, you know. So it's about just building that foundation, which is there. And now we can kind of move on to trying to see if we can bring back the 90s. Thanks.